Hi everyone, welcome along to your next video about your home learning for National 5 Web Design and Development. Today's lesson we're going to look at the arrangements from the SQA for this part of the course and also a reminder from third year of the web page styling. So you've got a starter, same deal as before. I want you to look at the starter, pause the video right now, go away, find out the answer and post it as a comment onto Satchel1 for me before you carry on with the video. So if a font family is known as sans serif, what does that mean? Okay, go away and look that up for me. Okay, hopefully you've posted that onto Satchel1 for me and we'll carry on with the rest of the video. So the SQA arrangements, the SQA has published a course specification and that details exactly what is examinable for the National 5 Computing Science course. Now it's either examinable in the assignment or examinable in the question paper. And we've extracted the information for web design and development and colour coded it for you and provided a document for you, and that's attached to this notification. We've also put some columns on the right hand side that you can use to mark up how well you understand each topic in the future when you're doing some revision. So it's got columns for green, amber and red. Okay, so the first section, and you'll recognise this from software design and development, is the analysis stage. Now this is where we identify the end user and functional requirements of a website problem that relates to the design and implementation at this level. You've already done this lesson and you've already done a task for me about that. As you look at that statement, you should already be thinking, I know what an end user is and I can think of some requirements they might have on a website, and I can also think of some functional requirements that a web page would have to have. Okay, that should already be in your mind. The next section is a big section. We'll be moving on to this later on this week. The design section. Now, describe and exemplify. Wherever you see that, and in the box below it says describe, exemplify and implement, that means you guys actually have to do it. So you will need to use Notepad++ and a browser and create web pages to be assessed by the SQA. That would be in your assignment or a question in the question paper. So first of all, describe and exemplify the website structure with a home page, a maximum of 4 linked pages and any necessary external links. Now that means it's quite a simple website and it's something we used to call a sitemap, and that would just show the home page and below that the 4 linked pages, but we'll come on to that next week. You need to be able to describe, exemplify and implement, taking into account your end user requirements, effective user interface design for visual layout and readability using wireframes. And here you're going to have to look at navigational links, consistency across multiple pages, relative vertical positioning of the media displayed, and file formats of the media. And we'll be looking at text, graphics, video and audio. Don't want to say too much because we're coming on to this. You also need to describe and identify the implications for individuals and businesses of the Copyright Designs and Patents Act 1988 relating to web content. So text, graphics, video and audio, you put them in your website, well, let's make sure that you've done it legally. You're also going to compare a range of standard file formats. The audio standard file formats, WAV or WAVE and MP3, in terms of their compression, their quality and their file size. And also comparing bitmap graphic standard file formats, JPEG, GIF and PNG in terms of compression, animation, transparency and colour depth. Big PowerPoint coming. Then you need to be able to describe factors that affect file size and quality relating to resolution, colour depth and sampling rate. Sampling rate is something for audio and video files. You also need to describe the need for compression. You might have a question in that in the question paper. And you need to describe, exemplify and implement low fidelity prototyping from wireframe designs at this level. Then we've got the CSS implementation. Here you need to be able to describe, exemplify and implement internal and external cascading style sheets. Now internal cascading style sheet, you're going to be doing a bit of that today and you did it already back in third year. External cascading style sheets is new. Also selectors, classes and IDs is new, but the properties text font family, font size, text color, text alignment, and the background color, stuff you've done back in 3rd year. And you need to be able to read and explain code that uses that CSS. We've then got the HTML, describe, exemplify and implement HTML code. Most of this is familiar. HTML tag, head tag, title, body, heading, paragraph tags. Div is new at National 5, but your links, your internal and external links with the anchors, your image tags, done all that. Audio and video is new, but your lists, your ordered lists, unordered lists and list items, you've done it all before. New term here is when you describe and implement the internal and external hyperlinks, you need to be aware of what is meant by relative and absolute addressing. And you need to be able to read and explain the code that makes use of the above HTML. Then we've got JavaScript. Now it just says describe and identify, so you won't be asked to implement that during your assignment task. And that's relating to the mouse events. Now the mouse events, the mouse moves about on your desk, that moves the pointer on your screen. We've got on mouse over, which would be when the pointer goes over something, perhaps an image, and then on mouse out when it comes away. And it might make the image change or get bigger, and then when you move the pointer away it goes back to its original image or size. We've then got testing and evaluation. 4 tests that you must do on a website. Check that it matches the user interface design in your wireframes. Make sure that the links and navigation work correctly. You did that already in 3rd year. Make sure that the media, like your text, your graphics, your videos, all display correctly. And consistency. Let's not have lots of different funny fonts and sort of pictures randomly all over the place. Let's make it nice and consistent. Each page is consistent, the heading is in the same place, it's the same font, it's the same size, etc. And then you'll evaluate your solution in terms of fitness for purpose. Again, that's familiar from software. Okay, so a little bit about styling now. National 5, you have to be able to style the properties of your elements as follows. I mentioned this already. The text font family, text size, text color, text alignment, and background color. And you've done all this in 3rd year. In 3rd year, you learned about inline styling. Now, this type of styling is where each tag in your web page has its styling applied directly to it. And you also learned about internal styling. And that's where you have this style section up at the top in the head. So let's have a little look at that. So I've got some pre-prepared web pages here for you, all about Ben Nevis. Now, first thing, very simply, inline styling. All we're going to do is in the body tag. Now we've got body tag, we've got an H1 tag, we've got a P tag, we've got image tags. Tags is basically something that's got angle brackets around it. So in the body tag, we're going to add style equals, and in quote marks, background dash color, misspelled the American way, a colon, and we'll make it yellow. Just make sure it stands out, and then close the angle brackets. So I've just added style equals background color yellow here. Save my notepad file and go and refresh my web page, and there we go, I've changed the background color. Simple as that. You've done this before. Additionally, back in 3rd year, if I look at the next web page, if we look at the internal styling, that's where you create a style section up in the head. So in the head section, if you add in style, now my version of Notepad++ is quite cool because it actually adds in closing style for me, but you remember and type that in. We put in body because that is the tag element that we want to change. A curly bracket, an open curly bracket, and it's background color, spelled the American way again, and this time to prove it's something different, I'll make it cyan. That'll hurt our eyes. So body, background color, cyan. Inside the style, open and close style tag, inside the open and close head tag. Okay, I'll save that. And I'll refresh this one, and there we go. That's what's happened. Okay, so if I go back to my, I'll close these first. I go back to our PowerPoint. Inline styling. I just popped in, here we go, I've got body style, background color pink. I've done something with the H1 style, Colour red is the text is now red. The background colour is white. Okay, so that's up here, all about Ben Nevis. Red writing, white background for the H1. I've changed the H2 style, font family Comic Sans MS. There we go, that's Comic Sans there. And the H3 style, I made it font family Chiller. Now you can have a lot of fun with this. There's quite a few of the standard font families are actually supported by HTML5, so you can have a look at that. Chiller actually makes it quite small, so I've added in font size 200% just to make it a little bit bigger. If you want to change two elements, so here I've got two properties, the font family and the font size. I've given this one the attribute Chiller and this one the attribute 200%. You just separate them with the semicolon. I've done the same up here with the H1. I made the colour red, there's a semicolon, and then I made the background colour white. The internal styling, I made the style section, and we've got the body, background colour pink. H1, colour red, background colour white. Again, separated with the semicolon. And it's exactly the same styling, but all the styles have been pulled out of the individual tags in each line, inline styling, and they've been put into this whole style section here. Okay, so they've been separated out in style section in the head. Okay, so that's all the theory for today. We've now got to look at your tasks. I've already asked you to do the starter, but there's also a revision task sheet that I'd like you to do. So this is attached to the notification. There are 3 tasks that you need to do. A Big Cat's website with some internal hyperlinks that you've got to adjust, a Cricut 1 web page and a Cricut 2 web page, and you need to adjust all of these. Now, all of the instructions are here for you. It says the 3 tasks that follow all draw on the practical HTML skills you learned in 3rd year, plus some additional ones that you're going to have to research. It tells you what to use to try and help you, and make sure that you provide all the evidence requested for each task. So the first one, the Big Cat's website, now there's some very specific instructions here. I don't have time in this video to go over them, but please read through them really, really carefully. You need to provide the evidence for me. Now I've produced, there's actually 5 pages on this website, and you're adding in some internal hyperlinks for me in here. Okay. Now you've got all 5 pages, so there's going to be 5 screenshots and 5 sets of code. So to add some extra rows into this table, because I've not given you enough, you just highlight the rows, right click and choose insert below. Okay, and just keep doing that until you get enough pages. Just undo that. You've then got to do some inline styling for me, and then you've got some, and there's loads of inline styling. And by the way, by the time you get down to these ones, it's really, really tricky. So you're only really spending a couple of hours on this. You do not have to do everything. Okay, try as much as you can. And then the next one, 3, Cricut 2, that's internal styling, so you have the style section at the top. Okay, so follow those instructions very, very carefully. It tells you that you need to download the files from the National 345 team. So let's have a quick look at the team. Here's the team. Not many people joining us. We've had some people in, but quite a few of you haven't shown up for the tutorials yet. At the minute we're just messaging. But anyway, in your team, if you go to the files section here, you see we've got class materials and we've got web practical, and I've got the Big Cat's website, the Cricut 1 website and the Cricut 2 website. So the Big Cat's website, there are 5 web pages and I think there's 12 images. Now, downloading that, you can do it by clicking on the the whole folder and then going to download, and that'll download it as a zip file. So be really careful. It explains in the task sheet how you have to save these. When it comes to the Cricut one, the images are the same in both folders, but the home page is different. So you can maybe download all of these, but then if you go back into the Cricut 2 one, it's only the home page that you would need to download, but that is different. Okay, so it is different between the 2 of them. Okay, So I'm going to have to finish now because I'm about to run out of time in this video, but there is your task. Good luck, guys, and see you.